Welcome back to Unleash the Player, football's realist podcast. Today, I'm delighted to be joined in the studio by a man who's played and managed at all the levels of English football, including the women's game, a man who's achieved back-to-back promotions to the Championship, both as a player and then later as a manager. A man who's racked up 633 appearances for the same club, combined as a manager and as a player, and a man who is one of the greatest man managers out there in the game who I've had the privilege of working with. It's Mr. Southend, it's Steve Tilson. Steve, how are you doing today?
Yeah, all good. Thank you. Yeah.
How are you feeling about being on the show?
No, looking forward to it. To be honest, never done one before, so something new to me. But yeah, looking forward to having a conversation with yourself and see where we go.
For sure, and I'm very excited to have you here with us and have a conversation with you as well. So to start the show, I'd like to play a game, and I want you to name your best five-a-side team, including a manager and an assistant, of players and or managers, coaches that you've either played with or managed in your career as a player or as a manager.
Oh, that's a tough
question.
So manager that I've
Played under?
Yeah. So the manager would be Dave Webb.
Okay.
Signed me when I was at Whittam Town, non-league. For me, I think I played more games under Dave than anyone. And still to this day, I call him boss when I speak to him, which isn't often, but on the odd occasion when I call him, still I've got all that total respect for him and call him boss. So he'd be my manager.
Yeah, sure. His assistant?
Assistant-wise.
You could put yourself there.
Nah, I'd put myself as manager. Assistant-wise, I'd probably go for Theo Foley.
That's very interesting because my dad actually named him when he was on the show as well. He named Theo Foley as his assistant.
I'd go for Theo, yeah. So Theo was Ronnie Whelan's assistant. And Ronnie was a fantastic player. But I've obviously gone with Dave Webb as manager. But yeah, Theo, great person, been at all levels, obviously was at Arsenal. So I had a good relationship with Theo. So I'll go for Theo Foley as my assistant.
All right, excellent. So Dave Webb and Theo Foley as the manager and assistant.
Yeah.
Now moving on to the players, the best five players that you've either managed or played with.
Oh, Jesus, that is tough. The first one I've got to go with is Stan Collymore. Okay. For me, Stan was the best player that I've played with. Stan had everything. He was good in the air, fantastic pace, power, and could strike with both feet. And I think whether with a little bit more luck, I'm not so sure. I think he should have played a lot more games for England. I think, like I say, he had everything. So yeah, Stan is my definite number one in there. I've got to put Chrissy Powell in there. Yeah. Who obviously went on and played for Tottenham at left back. I played in front of Powley. Fantastic person, fantastic dedication, true professional, and like I say, went on to play a lot of games for Tottenham. So he's got to be number two in there. I mean, it's a difficult one in the fact that am I picking people that were at the level when I was playing, or whether, I mean, Ronnie Whelan. Yeah. I played with Ronnie Whelan and you've only got to look at Ronnie's career at Liverpool. One of the best midfield players that Liverpool have probably ever had. So I suppose I've got to stick Ronnie in there. I've got to put Ronnie in there. This is tough. 5 players.
You've got 3.
I've got to put a goalkeeper in there, have I?
I mean, you don't have to if you want to, a centre half to play sweeper keeper.
I'll put a keeper in there. No, I won't put a keeper in there because it might upset someone. Okay, so I'll go for. God, that's a tough one. Spencer Pryor.
Okay, yes.
Centre back, Spencer, spinner. Went and carried on at Norwich. Great pace. I hope you don't mind me saying this. Probably not the most technical of players, but had a fantastic career. Has gone on and played a number of games at the top level. And I actually brought him back after I played with Spinner, but brought him back as a manager, and again done a fantastic job for us when he came back. True professional again, totally dedicated. So he'd be my number 4, and number 5 got. God dear, this is really tough. Can I put 6 in there? Is it a 6 aside?
Why you've got 2?
I've got 2.
Got 2 more. What about 1 more and a sub? I'll give you a sub.
To be fair, probably 2 of my best signings, the 2 best signings that I've ever made. One was Freddie Eastwood.
Yeah,
Freddie, I just let him be a free spirit because he scored goals for us. On his debut, he scored a hat-trick against Swansea. I think he scored within 8-9 seconds of his debut. Went on to score a hat-trick. And obviously I think we paid 40,000 for him, and he went on to Wolves for about 1.2 million. So it just shows how good he done for us. Like I say, fantastic goal scorer. You just go and let him play. I think it was difficult. He went to Wolves under Mick McCarthy, and Mick's he probably weren't the right person for Freddie. Bit of a disciplinarian. And with Freddie, I think you had to give him that license to go and play. So, but yeah, Freddie for sure. But my other best signing was Adam Barrett.
Centre back.
Centre back. You know, fantastic relationship with Adam. Great signing, great leader. Knew his capabilities, but like I say, in a dressing room, on the pitch, fantastic for me. And I mean, he's like I say, he was one of my 2 best signings that I've ever made. So I know it was a 5-a-side, but I've made it 6, and I could probably make it a few more. But that's a really tough question. But yeah, them 6 will certainly be up there for me.
Excellent. So you've got a few boys in there that you played with, and a couple of boys as well
that I managed.
That you managed, and even like you mentioned, Spencer Pryor, you actually played with and then managed.
Yeah, I did. And like I say, he was his career's gone on from strength to strength. I think he's in Australia now, managing or coaching a women's side in Australia. He's moved out to Australia. In fact, like I say, true professional. Probably not a leader like Adam Barrett was, but he gave you everything, and he was good at what he was good at. You know, he knew his capabilities, but like I say, went on to play at top level. So played a large number of games for Norwich, and like I say, done ever so well when he came back and played for me.
Yeah. Really interesting hearing you speak about Freddie Eastwood there, and how the difference in management styles between yourself and Mick McCarthy either got the best out of him or didn't. And I want to ask you, because I even mentioned in introducing you on the programme, one of the best man managers in the game, and that's obviously from my experience working with you as well. And I know a lot of the boys I speak with also feel very similar in that way. How do you get that right? How do you, as a manager, get the best out of players like that?
I think it's difficult, but like for instance with Freddie, people always ask me, because Freddie was a traveller. Was he a nightmare to work with? I never had any issues with Fred whatsoever. Fantastic relationship with him. Give him a little bit of licence, but he never missed training. Might have missed it on the odd occasion. So he come to me one morning or one afternoon after training and said, "Gaffer, is there any chance I can have?" I think it might have been a Tuesday off training. I said, "What's it for?" And he said, I'm getting a mobile home delivered. So I said, Fred, not a problem. No, not a problem. I actually went round there when it was being delivered and had looked, because he lived local to me. So I think it was just giving Fred that licence. I mean, Freddie used to drive up the A127 on a horse and cart, so at times, but it's just giving people that licence. On the other hand, maybe not at professional level, but the older players, you've got to give them that licence as well to recover at times. You can't keep a 35, 36-year-old doing the same as what a 20-year-old's doing, out training in the gym. They've got enough experience, they'll look after themselves. Yeah. I've got enough, I think I've got enough experience to bring the right personnel in where I can trust them to be able to do what they do. Shaun Goater, for instance, I had Shaun Goater. No disrespect, but what am I going to tell Shaun Goater to do? There's another one I should have thrown in my five-a-side.
For the seven-a-side, what's become?
Seven-a-side. It'll be a 11-a-side soon. But Shaun, what a career Shaun had playing for Man City. Absolutely adored by Man City fans. Adored by the Southend fans. You've got to be careful how you treat individuals, age-wise, and Shaun was another one. I mean, I brought Shaun in. I knew what Shaun could do, and there's no point in me hammering Shaun on a training field. He was 35, 36 years old. So, I think it's just having that experience and being sensible with individuals, and you'll get their respect.
How do you manage that with the other players? Because I've been in dressing rooms before where I remember when I was at Hartlepool, we had a player come and he'd been playing in the Scottish Premier League, he'd been in the Premier League Championship, and similarly to what you're talking about, had to manage his load. But the other players didn't really take it that well, that he wasn't training every day like everyone else, but then he was playing on the Saturday and playing on the Tuesday. So how would you manage that? How do you get that message across to the players so that the other players are fine and they understand, okay, he's a senior player, that's cool, he'll train and he'll still give his best on the pitch?
Me personally, I think it's all about getting the right players in. Not to understand that Shaun Goater, for instance, is not going to train on a certain day or whatever, but I always look to get the right personnel in. I brought one player. I brought every player into that football club, probably apart from one or two that the chairman brought in, and then one or two didn't work out, and it wasn't right. For me, you've got to do your homework. You've got to get the right individuals in. We had such a fantastic team spirit at Southend. We probably weren't the best side by a long way when we won Division 1 to go in the Championship, but our spirit got us through that. And I think it's about doing your homework and getting the right personnel in at any level. At
any level, yeah. Completely agree. Doing your homework, what does that involve? Does that involve, meeting them face to face, getting that feel for the person, looking into that person's eyes, having that conversation, speaking with people that you trust? What does that?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I think it's having a meeting with them. It's also meeting them, but asking certain questions about their work, their family, are they married, certain questions, and then obviously asking other contacts if they've had any interaction with them individuals. And like I say, for me, recruitment is the biggest thing in getting a successful side, and that is so important. And that I'd like to think that me and Brushy at Southend, we've done that well. Like I say, at any level, it's about getting the right individuals in.
Does that homework happen enough in the modern day game? Because when my dad was on, he was saying that's how it used to be. Meet the manager and the player face to face. He said now the first time that the player will meet the manager, even especially at the higher levels, all the agents are doing the deals. So the first time the player meets the manager is the day that he signs, and there's not really much contact beforehand. So is there enough of that goes on?
I think the problem now is you've got director of footballs and they're bringing the players in. not the manager. I mean, I personally, I couldn't work like that. I can't see how that works. If I'm not bringing a player in, I don't know anything about it. Well, don't get me wrong, I might know a little bit about the player, but for me, if I'm the manager of a football club, I've got to bring the players in, because if it doesn't work, I'm the one that's going to get the sack. If a director of football brings them in, they're not going to lose their job.
Yeah.
I lose my job. A lot of people might disagree with me on that, but for me, I'd love to know how many players Alex Ferguson didn't bring into Man United. I'll bet there weren't any. And he's the most successful manager that the Premiership's ever had. So, yeah, for me, it's not right. And I think that's a big issue at the moment. Director of football at any club are bringing players in, and managers are not really seeing what they're getting coming into the football club.
There's the role that's been created now, like head coach role, rather than manager who oversees everything, like what you're talking about, how you like to operate now. So that would be a difficult role for you to take, where your head coach, sports director is bringing in all the players, and you're just overseeing the training. You would struggle with that.
I can do it, because I like to know who's coming into the football club as individuals and collectively. So that wouldn't be difficult for me. I can do it. Simple as that.
Simple answer.
That's being honest.
Come back to the Freddie Eastwood one for a moment. So I'm massive on building relationships, communication. Players I work with, I encourage them to do that with their teammates, with their manager, with the coaching staff, everyone who's working at the club. And it sounds like, you said that you were even helping him, going over there, looking at the mobile home, helping him. It sounds like you also are massive, and obviously from my experience with working with you, on building the relationships and the trust with the players, not just as a player manager, but also as like a friend or a father figure. Why do you think that's so important?
I think it's important to take an interest in, what your players are doing outside of the training ground, outside of a Saturday, Tuesday night. I think that just builds a relationship up between managers and players. I think it's more difficult now though, because so much going on. Managers have got so much to do. I think it's, it has developed since I was in charge at Southend and Lincoln. But yeah, I think the Freddie one, he was doing ever so well for us at the time, and that particular occasion, I felt I was living in Wickford. He's in Wickford. It was sensible to go and have a look. Not that I didn't trust him, but he was. Like I say, Freddie was fantastic for the football club, and I never had one issue with Fred at all. I mean, he had a couple of scrapes outside in the pubs a few times, but there was no major issues. He trained every day. He worked hard, and he done the business on a Saturday. And you can't ask any more than that.
Yeah, for sure. Excellent. Coming back to yourself, who is Steve Tilson? Who is Steve Tilson? The player? Obviously, people might not remember, but you had a pretty successful playing career. The manager and the human being. I
think. Are you asking me about individually each one?
3 parts.
Yeah, I think as a player, love playing football. From a 7-year-old, all I wanted to do was be a professional footballer, if I'm honest. And all my dad wanted me to do was be a professional footballer. But like I say, I played from 7. I played for Wickford Town, Wickford Rangers, all the Wickford Dynamos, all the Wickford sides. And then I went to Southend United at 17, and a bloke called Ronnie Hanley. I don't know if you know Ron, but he was really good friends with Terry Venables. Okay. So he was a manager at Basildon, took me under his wing. I had a couple of good years there. Went on to Bowers, played for Bowers at a young age, and then went to Whitton. Danny Greaves was a manager, Jimmy's son. Went over there, but it got to 22, and I'm thinking, you know, has my time gone? Have I missed the boat? But at 22, had a good season at Whittam, played up front with Alan Brazil, who was a fantastic player for Ipswich Man United. We had a really good side, had a really good season. And Danny got a call from Davey Webb, who was obviously at Southend at the time. He wanted me to go and play in a reserve game at Roots Hall against Leyton Orient. So I thought this could be my last opportunity, because I had a trial at Gillingham, one game, fell on my shoulder, dislocated my shoulder. So that didn't go too well, but I thought this could be my last opportunity. So I think I had a day's working with my dad on a building site. Went to Roots Hall that evening, played in the game, and I thought I'd done really well. But
what position did you play?
So I played that left of a 4 in the middle, like midfield. Okay. So we 4-4-2, tucked in on the left hand side.
And you've been playing up front at Whittam.
Bit of both, left side and up front. So I thought, have I done enough? Is one game enough to show that you know what you've got? Anyway, Dave Webb called me in his office after the game and sat me down, and I was shaking. I was really nervous, and he said, "Look, I think there was 6 months left of the season. It was around just before Christmas time, and he said, look, I'll offer you a 6 months contract." And I'm just thinking, I'm going to sign it. I don't care what he offers me. It don't matter. I was earning £250 on a building site a week. He offered me £125 a week. And I went, yeah, I'll sign it. Like, the money just didn't bother me. So, I went from on the building site. I remember scoring, I think my first game was away at Mansfield. I was on the bench. Yeah. He brought me on, was 4-0 down. So I thought, great. Anyway, but I remember I scored my first goal against Wolves at home. And then Dave Webb believed in me. The one thing I had to, or the biggest difference for me, was the fitness side of it. Yeah. Like, that was, and the mentality of that, the physicality side of it as well. It was totally different to what I'd been used to. And that was the biggest change for me. I thought technically I was fine. I was okay. But that was the biggest change for me. And I worked hard at building myself up a little bit and understanding that mentality of having to put your foot in when you needed to. And then just went from strength to strength. Don't get me wrong, I had some tough times at Southend. I had 5 or 6 managers. Yeah. So Dave Webb, blimey, Mum, I told you my memory's not great, but
I've got a good game for you on that in a moment.
That's not great.
So we'll really put it to the test.
But yeah, so I had Dave Webb, and I think there was 4 or 5 of us that had our contracts were coming up, and believe it or not, we was flying at the time. I think we was top of the championship. Wow. And we beat Newcastle 4-0 at home at Roots Hall to go top. But there was 5 or 6 of us, our contracts were up at the end of the season, and the chairman weren't doing anything about it. And Dave decided he was gonna leave. Wow. And that, from that day, it went a bit sour. And I played under Colin Murphy. I played under Peter Taylor. Yeah, of course. Peter was, and I still to this day get on fantastically well with Peter. Good coach, had a great career as a player and a manager, managed the England under-21s, had a fantastic career, and as I say, got a really good relationship with Pete. Colin, God bless him, he has passed away now. but was a fantastic character. Fantastic. I mean, we used to train. He used to bring a cricket bat out.
Yeah.
We used to get round. He was in the middle. We was round him in a circle. Cricket ball, roll it in, and he'd smash it, and you had to catch it. I mean, he was an absolute character. He really was. So played under Colin, played under Ronnie Whelan, played under Steve Thompson, who was wouldn't take any messing.
Yeah.
He was total old school, if I'm honest. Played under Barry Fry.
Yeah.
And my time with Barry Fry wasn't fantastic. I'll get on with Barry, but Barry came in and just spent an absolute fortune of money, and I found myself on the bench for a long time. I actually went on loan to Brentford. Dave Webb went to Brentford.
So he brought you.
He took me to Brentford, and I had a couple of months there. I'm not sure I like the travelling too much going there, but that was like a nightmare for training wise, and that could take 2 hours to get there, and that was
Where were you living at the time?
I was living in Wickford, so that weren't fantastic. But yeah, so and then have I missed anyone out? I had another manager called Bob. I can't remember his surname. That's bad, isn't it?
That's not great.
My surname, my memory's not great.
I want to ask you a question. So you didn't sign your first pro until 22.
22 years old, my first contract.
So that shows, and you're one of, I think, many examples of players like Ian Wright and players like this.
Stuart Pearce,
right, who can arrive
Yep.
later in the game. So there is still hope, for players who are out there 18, 19, 20, 21, who maybe haven't quite arrived yet in the professional game. What advice or guidance would you give to those guys that are out there that are still trying to achieve that right now?
And I think there's a number of boys that obviously I've managed to step forward. And for an instance, Jermaine Francis, who was at Hashtag, and I've always thought he was a good player. Watching them, and he's got to move to Chelmsford. He's obviously done well, and now he's at Barnet, in the National League, who are flying high in the top 6. So I think there are a number of boys out there that that it's just getting that little bit of luck, being spotted at the right time, maybe having that right contact.
What can they do to give themselves the best opportunity, like what Jermaine Francis, most recently, who you mentioned, has achieved? Play games
And do well. That's at Whittam. I was scoring goals. I was enjoying my football. I think that I never come through any academies at a younger age, and I'm a believer. If you're good enough, you'll get through. Don't get me wrong. If you're getting good coaching at a younger age, that's a huge benefit. But I think you only get that good coaching at top clubs because they pay the money. I think at the lower level, and that includes Southend, I'm not sure how good the coaching is and I'm talking about at the grassroots, because they don't pay the money to get good coaches in. So for me, it was just about enjoying my football, doing the best I could. And like I say, I was never coached at all through my junior days. Just had managers that put a team out, don't get me wrong, they wanted to win. Go and enjoy your football, but I didn't have any coaching at all. And then, like I say, got the move to Southend, and that's when it was real. They put me in, and I started gradually understanding what it was all about to be a professional. Like I said earlier, that physical side of it, the fitness side of it, because I thought technically I was good enough. But the other 2 areas I had to improve on, and that was hard work to do that. But I loved me football, and it was something I dreamt of from day one, and really enjoyed it.
And that moment that Dave Webb pulled you into the office after the game and said, "I'm going to give you a 6-month contract," how did you feel in that moment?
I was like it was a dream for me. I'd have signed for nothing, to be honest. At 125, cut my money in half, but I weren't interested in the money. And even throughout my career at Southend, I was there 10 years, and Barry Fry come in. I was in the Championship. I was earning £650 a week. That's the most I ever earned. He was bringing players in on £2,500, £3,000 a week, and that annoyed me.
Yeah.
Because did they care for the club as much as I did? No, they didn't. They were there for the money, but not sour, to be honest. A lot of people talk about the wages that players are earning now.
Yeah.
But listen, they're, good luck to them. That's what I say. It's no good being sour about what they're earning and what I earn. I was happy to have the career I had, really enjoyed it, and good luck to them for earning as much money as they do.
For sure.
They're top players. Let's be honest, there's players in the National League now earning £5,000 a week, which is absolute madness. But good luck to them. If they can get that money, fair play.
It sounds like you. It was really coming from the heart, really coming from passion and determination, and a real willingness and desire to be a professional footballer. That was the dream from when you were young. Like you said.
For sure, and being my home club as well.
Yeah.
So I used to watch Southend from the North Bank when I was 19, 20, 21 on a Friday night. So I used to go down there on a Friday night and watch the games, and I used to think, like, I'd love to play for my home club, and that dream come true. For me that was fantastic for me, and like I say, I was there 10 years, went back managed 7 years, etc. And it's the first result I look for on a Saturday.
Incredible. I guess it shows that dreams really can come true, and you're living proof of that.
Yeah, for sure. Don't get me wrong. Would like to have maybe done a few things different as a manager, as a player at times, but we all learn along the way, and at whatever age, I think you're always learning.
For sure, that growth mindset. Steve Tilson, the manager. Who is Steve Tilson, the manager?
Again, I think things have really moved on since I was managing. The sports scientist now coming in, and he can't play because he's fatigued. For me, I can see whether people are fatigued. We had back-to-back promotions with a team. We had probably a squad of 18 players, fantastic team spirit, not the best side in the league by a long way, but they all wanted to play.
Yeah.
They didn't want to miss a game. God, if I pull one of them out of a game for being fatigued, they'd have been knocking on my door. We played 4-4-2. Everyone knew what they was doing. I had a side that very rarely changed. Yeah. I had a captain in Kevin Mayer, who's now the manager of Southend, who was, like I say, fantastic player for the club, and he's very similar to what I'm doing now, or what I'd done. He's now the manager. But everyone knew their jobs, and it was just about going out and doing your jobs. And don't get me wrong, there was some tough times. Players weren't getting paid for 2-3 months at times, and it was tough. And it weren't all ups, that's for sure. But I think from my point of view, it was letting the players go in there. They give me everything they've got. Let's go and play. Get the ball on the floor. Let's go and play some good football. And as long as they gave me 100%, there was no qualms from my side.
Yes. And the type of environment that you created at each club that you went to?
Yeah, I think it was just about being positive. We used to go out and team bonding, go-karting and paintballing, and so that was great for for everyone getting along. And again, for an example, if we played on a Tuesday night and we lost and we didn't play well, I think a lot of managers have them in on the Wednesday and run them. From Wednesday off in Thursday, that's gone. It's done. Can't do anything about it now. And we'll look to improve on the Saturday, but we'll train our Thursday, prepare Friday, play Saturday. That is the sort of thing that I would do. But, you hear of, I can imagine what Steve Evans does at Rotherham, but there are managers out there that if they heavy defeat or a poor performance, then they'll crack the whip. And that's not the type of person I am.
I would concur, and I would say one of the things I noticed, playing under you, one of your greatest strengths is your ability to detach emotionally, whether it's, you've lost a game, won a game, and still understand what is the best thing to do for that particular individual, for that, or for the team, for the group, to prepare best for the next game.
Yeah.
I always notice that with you, you're able to, okay, cool, let that go, move on, let's go to the next one. Instead of like punishing the players like you're talking about, an emotional reaction, get them in, punish them, run them. And I always felt that with you, you were able to say, okay, that's been and gone. Now let's prepare best for the next one. I think that's a massive strength.
Yeah, because look, if we lost on a Tuesday night and then I have you in on a Thursday and run you, I don't think that's the best preparation for Saturday. So the only person or animal that I took it out on was when I got home and kicked the dog all over the place. No, for any pet lovers, I didn't do that, but I did used to say that in the changing room.
Yeah, you did. You did.
But on a serious note, no, I think, I don't think you get anything out of that. Yeah. If we lose on a Saturday, I don't understand going outside, being interviewed and hammering the players. For me, what are you gaining out of that? I don't see what you're gaining. It might be in a dressing room after the game. It stays in the dressing room. To be honest, on very rare occasions, I might have a go. I just don't see it, especially in today's day and age. I don't see what you get back. It is a totally different environment. I was the same when I was at Southend anyway. Yeah. I'm not one to hammer people and rant and rave. I don't see what you get out of that. And certainly going public and hammering players, and I see it quite a lot. Yeah. I don't understand it. I think you lose respect from the players, and then they've got to go out and perform on a Saturday or a Tuesday night. Are they going to perform for you? Not completely sure they will.
Yeah. It's a risk some managers are willing to take. And like you say, I think nowadays, especially nowadays, you run the risk of losing the dressing room.
Without a doubt. I think I only done it on a couple of occasions at Southend. I'd done it once. I hammered Freddie Eastwood once. We was away from home. I weren't happy with the effort he gave me. I thought it was right. He was top of the tree in that dressing room, and I just felt it was the right time to do it.
Yeah.
And he took it, to be fair to him. He took it, but I just felt for the dressing room it was the right thing to do. Because they knew he was top of the tree, was scoring a lot of goals, and I just felt that was the right time for me to do it. But I could count on one hand how many times that I not lost my temper, but lost my emotions in certain times.
It's incredible to think how important getting those things right. Yes, the tactics, the technical side of the game, of course, but getting those things right, I think, can make a massive difference. And like you say, the way that you timed that and you got the response that you wanted from Freddie and from the rest of the team, stroke of genius.
I don't know about that, but I think, there's certain individuals. I knew Adam Barrett, if I had a go at Adam Barrett, and I never did because I never needed to, if I'd had a go at Adam, he'd take it on the chin and it'd be fine. Other individuals would have crumbled, gone out second half and not being able to perform. So I think it again, going back to knowing your players. Yeah. But from then to now, I'm not sure you can really dig players out.
It's moved on, has it?
It's massively moved on, massively.
It's different. As Steve Tilson, a human being, who is Steve Tilson?
I think I'm very similar to what I am as a manager. I hate losing. I hate losing at anything. It doesn't matter whether it's tiddlywinks, football, table tennis. I hate losing. And that probably made it even more difficult when I lost on a Saturday as a player, or especially as a manager. And Michelle, my wife, will probably vouch that I did take it home too much. You know, like I say, I hate losing. But and still to this day, even at Haybridge, you know, I don't like losing. You know, I want to win at everything I do. So I'd like to think I'm a winner. I'd like to think I'm quite a nice person. Don't lose my temper too much. Yeah. But got lovely wife, 4 lovely kids, lovely dog, nice house. Well, compared to this, probably not. But yeah, no. Listen, I can't. I'm happy. I'm healthy, and I say just trying to. I've lost a lot of good people in the last 2 years, and just trying to enjoy my life, enjoy every day as it comes.
I think you're doing a fantastic job.
Well, I don't know. You better ask my missus.
We'll ask her after.
Yeah.
Okay. Little game for you.
This is going to be bad.
What do these dates mean to you?
Oh, no chance.
How well do you know your own career as a player and as a manager? Now, I had to do some seriously deep digging here. A lot of research to get these dates. I hope they're accurate. So we'll start with, I think you may actually have mentioned this earlier in the show, but 10th of March, 1989.
That's my debut.
Not quite.
What, my first goal?
First goal.
I was close, wasn't I?
Close, you were close. I couldn't get the exact date for the debut. Wolves.
I did say Wolves earlier, so I was correct on that.
Yeah, right. What was the score?
I think we won 2-0.
3-1.
3-1. I knew we won my 2 goals.
We'll give you that. 6th of November, 1990.
6th of November.
This is a few years ago now.
Did I score a hat-trick?
You certainly did.
The Aldershot.
Aldershot,
We won 10-1.
Yes. Yes. What was the competition?
It was, blimey, I used to call it the Mickey Mouse Trophy. But was it the Johnson paint?
I think, well, it was called
LDV?
the Leyland.
Leyland Daff.
Yeah. I don't know what that is now.
That's the, well, I think they've slightly changed it now because the under-21 sides come into it. And
is that the EFL Cup? It might be now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that competition there, I mean, for the lower level clubs, it's a fantastic competition. The one competition where you can get to Wembley.
Yes.
So when I was managing, we got to the final twice. But just my luck, Wembley was being redone. So we had the final at the Millennium Stadium.
In Cardiff?
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
No, it's lovely. So I went there twice and we lost both times in the final, which was not great. But the most important one was the third time I went there, we played Lincoln in the playoff final to win that game and get us into League One. We was in League Two at the time. So out of the 3, that was the most important one.
And you got the win.
I'm going to take that.
We'll take that. And you see if you remember the date because it's coming up in a moment. 4th of May, 1991. These are still playing days.
4th of May, 1991. So that would have been the last game of the season. Was that at Bury?
Bury.
I didn't play.
Oh, you didn't play?
No, that's where you should have done your own work.
I tried. I couldn't find the team sheets.
I had a feeling this might come up. So I didn't play. And the reason I'd had a really good season that year. And the reason I didn't play was the week before I got chicken pox.
You're joking.
I was absolutely devastated. I think I played nearly every game that year.
That's what I saw.
And I missed that one because obviously I had chicken pox, didn't want to give it to the rest of the players, and we got frigging promoted that day.
Unbelievable.
So I missed out on that, I was gutted.
But so you couldn't even attend the game?
Couldn't go. Travelled all the way to Bury.
But you played because when I was looking through, it said you basically played every
game. I was devastated. Absolutely devastated.
Sorry to bring that up, but at least you're a part of the. At least you're a part of the. The promotion winning team.
And again, we had some good players as well. Like I say, Ian, you probably won't remember a lot of them because you're a lot younger than us. But Ian Benjamin, who put the ball in the Bury net, Ian Benjamin,
right.
to get us a promotion. So it was obviously a great occasion that I missed, but that was a fantastic season for us.
Sure. Well, look, you played a massive part.
Yeah.
Okay. 1st of April 2003. You were definitely involved in this one.
1st of April 2003. That must have been a Man United game.
No,
it weren't. Caretaker manager?
No, not quite. We're not quite there yet.
2003. No, go on. I can't.
Your testimonial.
Oh, yeah. I told you. Fantastic occasion. We got an England 11 down. I think we had a good crowd at Roots all that day as well. I think it was nearly 5,000. So a really emotional time for me because obviously having testimonial, great crowd. I'm just trying to think because I actually got released after my testimonial. Ronnie Whelan was in charge, and it was Frankie Banks' testimonial at Roots Hall.
Okay.
So it was a Southend 11. I can't remember who was playing, but before I went out to play in the game, Ronnie Whelan, bad timing, pulled me in his office and released me.
You're joking.
Before going out and play, I'm having to go and play in a testimonial game.
Could he not have waited?
I was absolutely devastated because I thought I'd had a decent season.
Yeah.
So, I was gutted.
Talk about man management.
I know. And at the time, I was 32. So I was going out into that game. And Frank is a really good friend of mine. I was no way I weren't going to play.
Yeah.
So being released, having to go and play in that game, I was gutted. And then, obviously it came out that they'd released me, and I thought the world was going to end. I didn't know what I was going to do at 32, especially when I thought I'd had a good end to the season. So, the testimonial was fantastic. Had a really good evening.
Yeah.
Got some England players down, and Russell Osman played. Probably don't remember him, do you?
I think he's maybe a bit before my time.
A bit before it was Ipswich, England. Ray Wilkins.
Yeah, of course.
Laurie McMenemy come down.
Yeah.
Warren Barton, Rob Lee.
Yeah.
So that was a really good turnout, and had a fantastic evening. Then it's
incredible. These are some of the stories people would never know that this stuff.
Dennis Wise come along, great player, Dennis Wise. Yeah. But then my career. I don't know if you want to. Have you got any more dates?
I've got a few more dates. Yeah.
Shall I carry on with this bit first?
You can carry on with this bit. Yeah.
Okay. So obviously went from Southend and thinking, what am I going to do at 32 years old? And I had an agent called Rachel Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
And Rachel, Orient and Lincoln had come in for me. And I thought, I don't really want to go to Lincoln. Orient sounded good. It was only up the road. I didn't want to move at 32. And I think they offered me the same sort of money that I was on at Southend. And I was going to go and sign. Patsy Holland was wanting me to go up there. He was the manager at the time. And then right at the last knockings, Rachel phoned me and she said, Canvey have come in for you. And I went, Rachel, no disrespect, but I don't want to go to Canvey. It's like, they was in the Ryman Prem.
Levels, yeah.
And I thought, I really, really don't want to do that. And she said, well, just go and have a conversation. Chairman's Jeff King. Well, I didn't really know who Jeff was. Anyway, I went and met Jeff. He offered me the same money that Orient were offering me, part-time. So I went home, I had to think about it, and I thought, do I go and play there and start my coaching side, my badges and everything else? And decided that's what I was going to do. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I had 4 fantastic years at Canvey. I loved every minute of it. Glenn Pennyfather was a manager, who's a really good friend of mine now. Jeff, a lot of people find difficult to get on with, or if you get on the wrong side of him, you're in big trouble. Yeah. But I had a great relationship with Jeff, and I had 4 great years. I think we got 2 promotions. I was captain of the side that won the FA Trophy. We won the FA Trophy in the Ryman. I don't know if there's another side that's done that at that level, at Ryman Prem level.
Did you get to play Wembley with that one?
Oh, you won't believe this.
Go on.
Was it Villa Park?
Why?
There was something up with Wembley. So on 3 occasions,
can't believe it.
Should have been at Wembley, and I've missed every one of them. So still haven't done it. And we ended up, we won. We beat Forest Green in the final. Unbelievable. I had such a good time at Canvey, I must admit. I think I played up top for a spell, but then played in midfield for other spells. I think I scored over 100 goals in 4 seasons. Wow. And I loved it. It was great. Great. We had a fantastic team. And again, coming back to, we had a great team spirit, some really good players, good manager. Jeff was fantastic with us. And I was sorry to go, to be honest, but Southend then, they offered me to go back and run the Centre of Excellence. Yeah. Which I did for, I think, about 2 or 3 years. So I was head of the Centre of Excellence, run that. Then went up to youth coach. Yeah. Had a spell with Rob Newman as assistant manager. And believe it or not, I was 38 years old and ended up playing Carlisle away. They had a few injuries and short. 38. I was playing alongside Kevin Mayer at 38 years old at Carlisle away. And I thought, flipping heck.
This is not for me anymore.
That was tough. But yeah, so Rob eventually got the sack. Steve Wignall come in. He went. And then...
into November 2003.
2003. Ron gave me the longest caretaker manager job you've ever known in your life. I think we was in the bottom 3 or 4 at the time I took over. We managed to we stayed up. We got to the final of the LDV, and I think after quite a lot of games and a few months, Ron eventually decided that he was he'd give us a job
on the 11th of March 2004.
Right. Okay. 11th of March 2004. So I never had any, not desire, but I'll be honest, I could never see myself as a manager. And that's being totally honest. Wow. And probably a lot of players that played with me, I was quiet. Yeah. I probably didn't think as a manager you've got to be, I think you've got to be a strong person. Don't get me wrong, I think I'm a strong person, but I weren't sure that I could do it. And getting thrown into the caretaker's job, it was a shock to me. Yeah. But things went well. I think I speak to people well. Yeah. And the players responded. We managed to stay up. We got to the final, although we lost. And then Ron decided that he'd give me the job and give me a go.
Yeah.
And
then I'm going to ask you about the next date, which is the 28th of May, 2005.
is that Man United?
No, we're not there yet.
I told you, my dates are terrible. No, so that would have been our first promotion.
Yes.
Do you know what? I can't even tell you. Oh, well, that's the playoff final.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the playoff final. I'm thinking ahead of the next one. I mean, that was out of all the games, that was the biggest, as a manager, obviously, the biggest game in my career.
Yeah.
And to be there twice and lose, I was hoping and praying because this was the most important one for us. And we managed to beat Lincoln 2-0 on the day. I know Freddie got the first one.
Yeah.
And I've watched the game on a couple of occasions, not a lot. But just watching the second goal when Freddie released Duncan Jupp, who's our right back, and he scores, and his celebration it's just incredible. And I see Juppy from time to time, and I mention it all the time. It was just it like that occasion. I'll never forget that occasion.
What a day!
It was such a fantastic day, and for the fans to go up there the third time after losing twice. Weren't a massive crowd up there, because they probably thought we was going to lose again. But like I say, we managed to win, and then it was let's get ready for League One.
And then you did more than let's get ready for League One, because on the 30th of April 2006, what happened?
Yeah, we beat Bristol City. Wayne Gray got the winner. I think in the dying minutes to win us the league. Yeah. To get us into the Championship. But again, I remember that year, I didn't make loads of changes. Yeah. You know, I felt the players earned the right to play in League One. We brought a few in, but there weren't loads of changes. There was a lot of players that played in League Two that went into League One, and momentum just went forwards. And I say we had such a good team spirit and some good leaders. And we had goals in the side with mainly Freddie. Yeah. And we managed to win the league. And that was a great day.
Unbelievable, no?
To go to the Championship, and then you know, serious clubs in that league. Some serious clubs.
It goes to show how far, like what you say, the team spirit, that team dynamic, creating that right environment can take a team. And you've gone up a level, not changed much personnel, maintained that same spirit, and you've been able to go again. Yeah,
because we didn't spend a load of money. Yeah. The club didn't have loads of money. We got to the Championship, and do you know what? I just felt if Ron had give us a little bit more, I think we could have stayed up. There's some big clubs in that league, but again, there was a lot of boys still in and around it. We brought a few in, but we didn't have the money to probably what we needed to stay up. And I think our wage bill, if I remember rightly, was around £2 million. Okay. The next one above us, the lowest, was 4 million. I think that was Doncaster.
Double.
And then, I think Leeds didn't have a great season that year, but I dread to think what their wage bill would have been. Sunderland, there was loads of big clubs in there.
Difficult to compete. So 30th of April 2006 was a 2-2 draw away to Swansea to confirm promotion to the Championship. 6th of May 2006 was a 1-0 win at home to Bristol City to win the league, which brings us to our first piece of memorabilia that I've asked you to bring in.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola League One champions 2006 Southend United bottle of champagne that you've obviously not touched just yet. What was that like? What did that mean to you? Describe that experience, that feeling.
I mean, it not only for me, but for the players and for the town. I'd experienced it as a player. I think getting in the Championship. I think that was the first time the club had been in the Championship. But as a manager, you know, you're in charge and you got that group of players, and everything's resting on you.
Mm.
Hence why managers get the sack.
Yeah.
And I remember the parade through Southend, like it was incredible. Like my dad was there on the pier. We had photos with all the players. I've never seen so many people in Southend. It was such a great experience. Kids were on the bus. It was tremendous. And again, a day I'll never forget.
Incredible. Sounds like your dad was there with you every step of the way as well.
Yeah. Tough. Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, my dad not pushed me, but he was there for me. Loved his football. And he was, like I say, he was there for me for day one. Mum and Dad travelled to every single game. Home and away. Yeah, I mean, like my dad, he died of prostate cancer.
Sorry to hear that.
No, I miss him even now. It's been a lot of years. But yeah, my dad was a little bit more of a disciplinarian than I was. You know. But like I say, he was there for me for day one and never missed a game. He was there every single game. And as a player, he'd watch every game, and like if I'd had a bad game, I thought, oh God, he's gonna be on the phone. He's gonna tell me where I went wrong, which he did. But like I say, he was my idol, if you like.
Incredible.
Yeah, tough. I miss him now.
Yeah, sorry for the loss. So when you see my dad coming to all the games,
I know what it's like for you.
And I'm getting those phone calls as well.
Exactly. I mean, listen. My dad knew the game. Your dad knows the game, and they try and pass on their knowledge. At times, you'll take it on board, but there's other times you think, for Christ's sake, shut up.
I think there's more of those times.
You do, yeah. But they're only trying to pass on their knowledge for you, and my dad was the same. So he was there through thick and thin for us, and it's tough. Still miss him now. Mum's still about, so tough for me, mum as well. So they'd obviously been married since I think I was 19. Been married like 50, 60 years. So I'm not very good with dates and how many years, but like I say, mum and dad were there through every single game, playing and managing. So tough one to take.
How much strength does it give? Because I know, obviously, from my experience of my dad being at the games, it's to kind of look over and know that he's there.
Do you know what? And I didn't want to let my dad down.
Yeah.
As a player, I thought if I have a bad game, he's the one I'm going to get it in the ear hole from him. So like I didn't want that. Don't get me wrong, I had enough pride myself that I wanted to do well, but I used to think, God, if I've had a bad game, I know he's going to give me it. Yeah, I'm going to get it in the ear. You should have done this. You should have done that. So you're probably in the same boat.
I've had like what the hell was that? You've played like an absolute,
Oh no, I was exactly the same. But like I say, it's your dad, and you take it on board.
Yeah, I actually heard Gary Neville did an interview recently, and he was saying that every single game that he played for Man United, he looked up to the corner, I think in his box or whatever he had, and his dad was there every single game he went to.
That's great. That's great, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think it's fantastic. And like I say, home and away, they never missed a game. Don't matter where it was, Carlisle away, Sunderland away, you name it, they were there.
Your boy doesn't play. He's physio.
So Ben's a physio. Not a bad player, Ben, though. 2 good feet, not bad in the air. Probably didn't, in my opinion, didn't quite have enough grit to go and play. But saying that, I was very similar at a young age, so that might have changed. But he's taken a good path, got a good job, and he's doing well. There's not, with the rest of the kids.
Yeah, no, the boys at Haybridge loved him. He was properly looking after them.
Yeah,
Big Cuba.
It's tough. I think it's tough getting anyone at that, at that level to get a decent physio, and it is needed. I think at any level, and but he's a nice lad and he gets on with everyone. So he was good round the dressing room.
No surprises having you as his father. Set
Well,
a pretty good example.
He won't tell you that.
I'll tell you that.
He won't tell you that.
I will tell you that. Last few dates, and we almost at that one. 8th of May 2006. So 6th of May, you beat Bristol City to win the league. A couple of days later, 8th of May.
Oh dear.
Individual award.
That was Manager of the Year. Was that the
League
first
one
one or
manager.
second one?
Oh, I'm not sure.
So I've got 2.
Not sure. You got me.
Yeah, that was.
What was that like?
Oh, so nervous picking that up.
Yeah.
That was nerve-wracking, really nerve-wracking. But personally, that was, a great achievement. But obviously that comes with everyone at the club, through players, ground staff, everyone, catering, you name it, everyone, everyone plays their part in picking that trophy up.
Thanks for watching. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for today. Tune in next week for part 2 of this exciting episode.